Hi there, welcome to Watcher of Realms. Today we're looking at should you be summoning for Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Are they really worth it? It's a little bit more difficult this time round because she isn't the only out of 90 guaranteed. I think there might be an Ezio Auditore one besides the free copies, because people were talking about, do you really need Ezio A3, A4, A5 if you can get one version of him and then an A1, that's good enough. So that saves the cost there of ancient crystals, which you can put into Cassandra. However, you do have Ezio Dark version. You may have seen him already, and that's coming up, part of the Chaos Dominion clan, which is interesting, and that's likely to be out of 90. So whilst in the background you got Ivor, then Bayek, and then Evie Fry, which for most part of it should all be out of 200, and you need 600 to get all three of them guaranteed. In this case, for this you need 90, and then you need 90 to get the guaranteed Dark Ezio Auditore. Do you have enough for that? Or do you need to ration and pick, who do you pick, Cassandra or Dark Ezio? The Dark one, well, we've not seen him yet, his skills. So if you're really stuck on the fence, the best thing you can do is give it a few days, but enough time to still be able to summon for Cassandra so you don't miss out on her. And then weigh it up then with how many summons you got, how many more is projected ahead within the month or so, within the next 2-3 weeks. If you can get enough, then maybe you can summon for both. And if you're lucky, you can get more than one. And I'll explain that in just a moment. There's no other ways to get Cassandra. They are a collaboration hero and they may not come back. So unfortunately there is that fear of missing out, so just be aware. Now, times 20 chance doesn't really mean much that, because like with the Evo banner and the limited exclusives, once you go over the guaranteed mark, the chances drop a lot and it can be very hard to pull. But at least we've got the safety cap of 90. This is similar to Dracula, I believe. This is my understanding of the situation, okay? You could pull her earlier, but you're supposedly still able to get a guaranteed version at 90. But I am considering that it might be a little bit different, this, because when it came to Dracula, I don't think there was a counter. I could be completely wrong. It's just when it came to claiming Dracula, it was like in the notification tab, like a quest. If you summon 90, you guarantee Dracula. But on the screen, visually, it's different. It's not a quest guaranteed. It's on screen here like an legendary limited exclusive, where if you pull them before 200 summons, that's it, the event's over. It's like if you were pulling for that 1+1 legendary, where you get 2 legendaries for the price of 1. As soon as that happens and occurs, the event is over. You can't repeat it again in the same event. I'm a bit on the fence, so if you do pull Cassandra earlier, before the 90, should you continue on? I would say probably not, because you could use an unpolished soulstone on her anyway to get her to A1. She doesn't really need to be awakened any further, especially if you're free to play. A0, good enough, I think. A1, perfect. So you've got a soulstone laying about, consider using. If you want to push on with her, feel free. But there's no second unit, like a specific designated lord. Now look, some people online have got very lucky getting Ezerith, getting Orin, getting Balara, getting Jezebel. You're not guaranteed to get that. It all looks fancy and nice online as people are showing off, but the real reality is it might just not happen for you. So you got to keep a realistic, grounded approach so you're not too disappointed. End of the day, worst case scenario, you get to the 90, you're guaranteed Cassandra. It's all about, do you have enough resources for the next wave when the Dark Ezio shows up? Who do you want more? Maybe give it a few days to see if any new information and details come out about Dark Ezio to see who's really the better one. But what we'll do, we'll take a look at the kit. Now, there is gear available. I don't know if it shows up on screen. As you can see here, for Cassandra, Spear of Leonidas, increases single target damage by 20%, not bad. This one's better. Reduces the number of basic attacks required to gain Spartan Resolve to 5. I'm guessing, I've not really looked closely, that without this it's probably 6. So it's taken a bit off, generate it quicker, and anything that you can generate quicker is likely ideal, worth having. Didn't mention it in the last video, apologies if you haven't checked my review out on Evo, if it's worth it or not, be sure to check out. But exclusive artifacts here, increases single target damage by 20%, okay. Automatically gains 1 stack of blood bounty every 15 seconds. Very helpful and useful. During the ultimate, the cooldown of this effect is further reduced by 5 seconds. Okay, cooldown so it can happen more. And then And then Malvera, bit of an odd one. I guess if you wanted it, you could, but really the main ones are the collabs. We're going to go head on over to my loadout of her so you can see what the skills look like, mostly maxed out. Wherever she is, there she is. Nice profile picture. Straight on. I do like characters where they're facing straight on at the camera in the portrait. It's just more uniformed and looks well. And visually, looks the part, looks good. You got, is that the Spear of Icaros? And then this blade as well, curved. Spartan style cape in a way, chest piece. So yeah, kitted out well, dressed well, got arrows on the back, but I don't think she actually uses them at all, so yeah, is where it is. Now, where is the skin? Give me a moment. You do have to pay for this one, but what I will say is it's actually a really nice design. It's in keeping with Assassin's Creed, that specific title. It's in keeping with Watcher of Realms 2. Nice helmet, feathers at top, nice and silver. Actually also fits the idea of the Watchguard and even Supreme Arbiters. And Ezio Auditore, the base one, is also part of Supreme Arbiters, as well as the Watchguards. You can really build an Assassin's Creed loadout if that's just what you want for preference. It doesn't always have to be about performance, it can just be personal preference. Now, she is 19 cost, so if you're thinking of using her in Arena, I would suggest probably not worth it, considering that there are better units out there and lower cost. For example, Valderon, of course, and yeah, it would be Wukong. There might be some others in between, but they're the ones that I can think of on the spot. So, Cassandra. She is a ground unit attacker, single target physical attack again, defense penetration, multi-strike attack. Interesting. Strong crowd control. A bit of like a Wukong in a way, maybe. Let's just check the awakens. So I can awaken her right now, but I'm holding off just in case Ezio Auditore, the dark version, is better. Enhanced, the ultimate launches 2 extra attacks. 2 extra attacks means 2 extra lots of damage. That's a positive already. And it ignores 30% of the target's defense, because without it, they're not ignoring the defense. So this extra 30% will really help. So this is not quite, but it's like half of what Eivor can do during the ultimate. It's added on to her, making Cassandra even more usable. I did a bit of a clan boss. Might not have been the fairest comparisons, but they were both A0 and I had the gear what I had, and Cassandra outperformed Eivor. You'd hope so, because it is an ancient legendary and the resources there are a lot harder to get compared to the blue summoning crystals. Now, A2, each time the ultimate is cast, returns 1 stack of Spartan Resolve. Well, not really a must-have. A3, when consuming 10 stacks of Spartan Resolve to cast the ultimate, doubles the Spartan Resolve stacks gained within 8 seconds. It's not really ringing to my ears like you need it. 300 attack, nope. Damage increase gain for every 1% rage regen increases to 0.7%. I don't think that's good at all. I believe it says increases to, so it's not adding on to what it already was at, which was 0.5. So it's only going up by 0.2%. No. I don't think that's good. I know they've got to keep it balanced, but I just don't think it's worth it at A5. This might be one of the most underwhelming awakenings for an ancient legendary, and exclusive to say the least. You compare it to Dracula. A1, amazing. A3, must have. A5, pretty good too. There was a reason to go for multiple copies of Dracula. But here with Cassandra, there's not really a reason to. But you know what? That's a benefit. That's a positive. It means you can save your resources and put them elsewhere, if that's what you want. And, you know, it just also shows that they're good enough at A0, maybe A1, which would really help here. A1, in this case, seems more clear to go for than Evor A1, in my opinion. So, 19 cost. This is the loadout, what I've gone for, just because it's all I've got at this moment in time. You may have better yourself. 23k attack. 310 attack speed, needs to be a lot higher there. Nearly 400% crit damage, pretty high. Could be lowered for other stats in return. Rage regen, 62.5%. You need rage regen, normally, just so you can use your ultimate quicker, get round to it. But you get that extra damage of 0.5% increase also. And we'll get to that. So here, talent-wise, gains 1 stack of Spartan Resolve. And we'll just read it. When gained, restores 10% max HP to the hero, stacking up to 10 times. It goes up to 100. Casting the ultimate consumes all stacks. Bit of survivability. Not really seen it used much at the moment, but there's a time for it. For every 6 attacks, as well as every 12 seconds. Okay, 1 stack for every 6 attacks. So the faster you attack, the quicker you gain those stacks. And you get it anyway every 12 seconds. So that helps. 2 ways of gaining it. Every 10 seconds gains 1 stack of Spartan Resolve and inflicts Mark of Icarus. What is that exactly? Disables the bearer's invisibility for the duration. The bearer. Does that mean... I don't know. Invisibility, is that applied to Cassandra herself? Or does it mean the enemy? The bearer, the one that holds it. Well, if you're inflicting the mark of Icarus onto up to 3 enemy targets, it's disabling their invisibility. So does that mean it could work for, is it the faction, the Watchguard faction trial in the later stages to disable the invisibility there? I've not tried it myself, but it targets up to 3 enemies within the ultimate range, which is good. Every 3 seconds dispels 1 debuff from the hero and 1 allied hero in range. A debuff as in a poison, for example. So that could definitely work in areas of... probably not the Matrix, because that's more AoE and this person's not doing AoE. But, I mean... for Titanic Ruins, because of the poisons there, that would actually work. So every 3 triggers dispels 1 debuff from the hero and 1 allied hero. So it's only 1 ally. But then it says gains 0.5% damage increase for every 1% rage. So the more you build her out in rage, the more damage increase. So 0.5% would have been better if it was 1%. I mean, the Awakening A5 goes up to 0.7%. Would have been better if they just said up to 1%. That would have been more fairer. You know, an A5 should be up to 1% damage increase for every 1% rage regen. Now, you might be thinking, what could you possibly do to build her? Do you need to use a primary substat of rage regen? No, I think it's not worth it. I mean, you can always try and experiment. You should definitely experiment. But I think it should be more secondary substats in every piece of gear, if you can fit it in, get as much rage regen possible. I've got 62.5%. Let's just round it down to 60%. As it's worded here, 0.5% damage increase for every 1% rage regen. Well, if I've got 60%, and it's only 0.5%, it's kind of like half. If it was 1% damage increase for every 1% rage regen, it would be 60% rage, 60% damage increase, which would be pretty nice, but that might be a bit too powerful, so it's basically half that. 30% extra damage. I'm doing 30% extra damage because of that rage regen. And it's good to have rage regen anyway because of casting your ultimate quicker. So it incentivizes you to have more rage regen whilst also gaining damage increase, which is really unique. This is a first time thing as well. So that's nice to have. Now, I don't have a fully maxed out, but it will be 120% damage to one enemy one time. Nothing special. Eagle's Quarry, passive. When an enemy within the ultimate range is inflicted with Mark of Icaros or has its duration refreshed, the hero deals 250% physical damage to them. Inflicts stun for 2 seconds. That stun is really good. A bit like Su Wukong in a way. Only 2 seconds, but it's enough for a bit of survivability to stop enemies passing through lanes. Slows it down a little bit, and that's ideal. And also vulnerability physical damage, which is going to be 30%. That's nice. For 5 seconds, that's a good amount of time. And gains 1 stack of Spartan Resolve. When gained, restores 10% max HP to the hero. Yep. Trigger interval 10 seconds. Now, Mythic Misfios. Each time the ultimate is casted, the hero is enhanced. Nice. After the first cast, each basic attack changes to 2 consecutive strikes. Well, that's good. 2 lots of strikes, each one doing 120% damage. That's good. And restores 5% max HP to the hero. Bit of survivability. After the second cast, upon killing an enemy, gains 40% single target damage increase for 30 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. Okay. So, with it being a passive, I'm guessing that when it comes to casting the ultimate the first time, anything after that is going to remain and stay as 2 consecutive strikes, or does it reset? It doesn't seem to say anything about resetting. And then the second ultimate, as long as you kill an enemy, you'll gain 40% single target damage increase. So, the second cast is invalid if you're doing a boss battle because there is no killing, is there? So, really, for the second cast passive to kick on in, it would have to be in Arena PvE content Malric Hall of Illusions campaign. But, that first cast of 2 consecutive strikes is decent enough. Now, Arena, damage increase by 15%. This is ideal, but the thing is, she's 19 cost. You'd have to sacrifice Su Wukong if you already got him. Or you'd have to sacrifice Kigiri if you already have him. Because she is Watchguard and Supreme Arbiters, when you normally do single target, you'd be using Chaos Dominion, which Cassandra would not fit in. Unless you can do some weird crossover, but likely it just wouldn't work. The Watchguard is an alternative with the likes of Wukong, Kigiri, Ailis, Leia, or Ingrid as the Lord. How are you going to fit Cassandra into any of that? Unless you haven't got Kigiri or Wukong, then Cassandra can work. But there are better options when it comes to the arena. So just be cautious of that. Cassandra's still good for boss content. Still does more damage than Eivor. Even though Cassandra at A0 isn't ignoring any defense. But Eivor is during the ultimate. So just imagine what Cassandra can do with that 30% passing through the defense. Right. we've looked at that. Last but not least, Leonidas Wrath. Look at that ultimate range all around. So if any enemies are to the side or behind, and maybe guide versus guide, GVG, that could work as well. You put her behind. Depending on how you do it, if you're using Supreme Arbiters, you could deploy Cassandra near or behind the likes of Cadgrim. Because of the range, because of the radius. Oh, just get rid of that. Low battery. No, it won't go. Piss off. Anyway, what else do we have here? Can be cast with at least 5 stacks of Spartan Resolve. That's the bars. There's 5 bars, which are, I think, just beneath the health bar or above the health bar of Cassandra. And it's like a dim colour. I think it's like a yellow-orange or something. Wait for it to stack to 5, and then you can use it. However, you can let it go more. So it goes up to what, like 100% or so, and then you got to wait for it to go up more, so something like 200% or around like that. I think it's kind of like Valderon. I don't have Valderon, but how Valderon works in his ultimate. Or who's the other one? Is it Udgrim? How do you say his name? Udgrim, on the side next to Eivor on the left-hand side of the screen, where you can wait for his ultimate to charge up, or you can wait for it to go into the overdrive, the overcharge, and then it glows yellow, so you do extra damage. You're holding it off, but you're doing extra damage after. We've kind of seen it with Gushi in recent time, where you got to wait for that to stack up 1, 2, and then 3 when it's all red, and then use it, and then it stays like that. Whereas with Cassandra, it doesn't take that long. It can be casted real quick. So if you used to do 5 stacks and then activate it, all the stacks will be consumed upon casting, immune to stun during the ultimate specifically. When casted with 5 stacks, immediately inflicts Mark of Igros on up to 3 enemies in range, and then launches up to 5 attacks at the enemy with the lowest max HP in range, each dealing 200% physical damage. So, okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, okay. 1,000 in total. 5 attacks, 200 each. Even better when it comes to a single target, right? The final attack then deals 400% physical damage, ignoring the target's defense. Okay, pardon me if I didn't acknowledge it before. Specifically in the ultimate, ignoring the target's defense completely. Outside of the ultimate, you won't be ignoring the target's defense unless you have it awakened to A1. Okay, so that's how that works, how it's inbuilt here. The way it's worded, ignoring the target's defense, it does not give a percentage, so that would imply it's 100% complete. Do maximum damage. 400%. So if it's like single target or boss battle, you're doing 1,000 first of all, and then 400% more on top of that, and that ignores the target's defense. I'm wondering, based on how it's worded, that the 5 attacks, 200% damage each, does not ignore target's defense completely. But that one single 400% physical damage will, based on the sentence structuring. When cast with 10 stacks of Spartan Resolve, doubles the ultimate damage multiplier and launches 1 extra attack. Right, the ultimate damage multiplier. So I'm guessing it doubles the 200% physical damage to 400% physical damage. So 5 lots of 400% physical damage. And I'm guessing the final attack is actually dealing 800 and 1 extra attack as well, which may be a base 400 or 800. I'm guessing. Either way, it's a lot of damage. And you do start seeing it, especially in the boss content, which we can get to at some point. You can get like a preview of it, top left corner. So, Cassandra's worth it, it's just the resources are more heavy and demanding when there's also the likes of Dark Ezio Auditore coming up. So just be cautious. I would say if you've got about 30 Ancients, 30 to 40 Ancients left over after summoning for Cassandra, you've got a chance to save up from there on till the Dark Ezio. Especially if you're end game specifically and you do Malric Hall of Illusion to get crystals there, and you try and complete all the events and buy from the shop, as in the event shop, and you can get close. I don't think she's arena focused, but PvE she is. Would have been nice to have a bond skill like the previous collabs. I don't know if that will be added in or not. But I think that's it for now. Let me know if you pulled her, how your summons went, and if you agree that she's worth it. Take care for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.